We deserve to able to live off 20 hours a week. FFS. 50 years ago the norm was one man working 40 hours a week to support a wife and a couple of children. Yet now, even with increased productivity, everyone is screaming at the suggestion that two parents working 20 hours a week each should be able to support a family. Face with rolling eyes, much less a single person not supporting any children. You're abso-fucking-alutely right. The reason we can't is because we have one of the population hoarding all the wealth. I'm about to go report all these capitalist supporters. Well, all live. We all die. The only thing we all have is the time in between. Is it truly right to spend so much of it working so that someone else doesn't have to? I'm not saying we shouldn't work. Gives purpose. Something to do. But to think anything more than 20 hours a week isn't enough to at least minimally exist, or at the very least not worry about a warm bed and filling meals, is preposterous. 40-hour weeks should afford so much more than they do. I wouldn't mind 35 hours weekly, no overtime, no coerced weekends. My sister and her partner are able to work part-time and be very comfortable in Germany. I'm jealous, honestly. I have literally been telling my coworkers we shouldn't be working more than 24 hours a week. Anything after that up to 36 hours should be time and a half. Then 36 and beyond should be double time. It's absolutely insane how in the most productive and most plentiful time of human history we are working more than peasants and serfs in the Middle Ages. And all of this just to collect 2 weeks vacation a year that you may or may not be able to take. We deserve to live off 0 hours of work a week because we have a right to live. Not a privilege to live. Everything else is a compromise with capital with some pragmatic reasoning. Like the fact that we do not have the infrastructure and energy production to be truly post-scarcity. Statistically, it would boost production, efficiency, and employee retention and happiness. It's the arrogance of the older generation that forces people to work so much fewer, but it'd be a start in the right direction. Hot take: we deserve to be able to live off 0 hours of work a week. According to productivity rate increase, I bet we can work 2 hours daily and get enough for average life. As worker productivity increases, we should reduce the workweek by a proportional amount. No point in being more efficient if we don't get some time savings from it. If only the people with the power to decide this felt that way. I would go farther and say that we all deserve to be able to live, regardless of how much time we dedicate to enriching the capitalist class. Yes. I couldn't homestead and be self-sufficient on 4 hours a day of labor. There's no way everyone in the world can live comfortably off 20 hours a week. We in the developed world just take advantage of other countries' labor and can get by with 40 hours a week. Without the sacrifice of those other laborers, our lifestyle would not be possible. We deserve to live. Oh, not you, Jeff. You can. However, you have to get away from jobs that determine your pay for you. You should be paid equivalent to the value you can provide. Construction you can't. Lawn and landscape you can't. Most trade jobs you can't. There are deadlines and short seasons. How does 20 hours a week get anything accomplished? And how exactly do you propose that to happen? You can, just depends if you're willing to make the necessary sacrifices to your lifestyle. No, you don't. You know, it's funny, that's the exact sentiment that started the 15-hour minimum wage from the lady 12 years ago. This lady became an activist pushing for the $15 minimum wage because she worked at KFC and could only get 20 hours a week and wasn't able to get a second job because she didn't have a set schedule. And her view was that if she made $15 an hour, she afford to live life even at only 20 hours a week. See what it got us. Where do you expect the hundreds of thousands of small business to get that money from? How would a small business be able to double its staff and pay them double? Or do you want all business to operate 50 of the time? Do you want benefits too? So now business have to cover twice as much healthcare because they're doubled staff size. Great plan. Okay. You can if your skills are worth it to an employer or you start your own business. You don't actually deserve anything since it usually means you expect others to produce shit for you for free. We can, just gotta live in a tent in the forest. 40 used to be the norm for full-time employment. Now it's 50 or more for the people that actually keep the world moving. After averaging 3,000 hours a year for several years, I would be happy with 40 a week. 100 Every single advancement in productivity and automation has gone to profit the bosses. When it was promised to the workers, many of those prerequisite technologies were developed and created with the support of tax dollars. Companies could absolutely be paying more and have a bigger workforce. But their companies wouldn't grow as fast and the CEOs would still only be getting like 20x the average worker salary instead of 400x. Shame on us for turning away from unions and job actions to counter the negative impacts of these modern-day robber barons. Edit compliance to posting rules. 30 is the sweet spot for me. The last time I ever felt like I actually had a life outside work was when I was doing part-time at 30. That was a long time ago.